probably is about 2 or 3 years since I was. We did our first interview. I think was here.
I was looking back that a while ago.
Yeah. Now I just put up yesterday that you have the single come out yesterday. The EP, 4-track. When I'm Sad, On and On, Pretty Clothes, and Oh Penelope, which is very rock and roll. Because I didn't realise that this is the first time you went to a big boy studio, Beechpark. Was that something that you just had been always planning to do? Was it something that just sort of popped up out of the blue? How did that come about?
It kind of was something that we were looking for to do something different, because we're always using this lovely studio and it's all like mom and dad's old equipment and stuff that still works.
Well, we should say Windows 98. Well done, man. That's retro. That's practically vinyl.
It's not actually. Yeah, it is, and it keeps turning on. We think it's because maybe it's not like connected to internet, so like it doesn't get any viruses coming into it or whatever.
Fantastic.
So it survived for years. But yeah, we were just like, sure, we'll try out a new studio and see how it goes. And kind of knew Daire Winston. My dad knew him and stuff, and his wife Heidi. And out in Rathcoole there, we were like, that seems like a deadly place to.
Of course, at times like this, it can feel, like everything's sort of on hold. But we can't, forget that this has been a pretty spectacular year for you. You did the one to watch in Whelan's. You've gotten great write-ups from Joe.e. Gave you song of the day. You got the hot press write-ups. You obviously sold out the Whale. So there is that sort of sense that for most musicians, they'd be kind of jumping up and down with the fact that they've achieved so much. But it's quite easy, I guess, in a quiet time like this, to sort of feel a little bit sort of limboed and lost and all that. So getting a new single out there, which is something that you've obviously been planning for quite a while. I mean, I don't know for you if it feels sort of surreal, because this is great. Like you're putting out like your debut EP after a string of 5 fantastic singles. As I said, most people would be elated, but I get the impression maybe it's your laid back nature that it's it kind of feels like okay, I have my EP out, and there
it is now. Like we did question whether or not to like put it out then, because we were, when this started, the whole COVID crisis, we were like, oh god, maybe like that's ruined it now. Because we were going to do like a launch gig and stuff, and like we were thinking about the Sugar Club and like renting a shuttle bus and hopefully getting people from Greystone to go in and stuff. But I don't know, you just have to kind of roll with it, I suppose, and we decided to put it out there anyway. Well, and the response has been good. Like, I only put it out yesterday, obviously, but so far it's been good. Thanks to everybody who streamed it and stuff so far.
Well, what kind of knocks me out is that within 2 weeks before that, we'll say 3 weeks, you've got your side project, Mute the TV, with your brother Elliot, who's always involved, and young Jack Joyce from the town, who's also another great
friend
musician.
of ours,
And that's an outrageously good single too. I mean, that's most
Thanks, Paul.
Again, most people would just be happy they got that out. I'm an incredible musician. Obviously, I know everything about music.
Oh yeah,
anyone needs to know. I have impeccable taste. And yet my fat ass has never released one song properly. I mean, if I released, with you, I'd be that'd be a T-shirt for the rest of my life. I'd be inviting myself to dinner parties to play it.
There you go.
So I mean, I suppose I was kind of hinting at it earlier. I mean, do you realise how wonderful it is, or are you kind of just it's sort of it's work to you, and it's something that you do and it's automatic? It's not like you're stepping back that often to wonder it at all.
I don't know. Yeah, I suppose just it felt like we've been working on the EP for ages, and like we recorded it last year, so it was time enough, I think, for that to come out. And then the new song, Mute the TV, it just Elliot wrote it around the kitchen table one night, and he was like, doesn't really suit your sound, Dill, and doesn't really suit like his own. So then we got thinking like, oh, maybe we'll do like a new band or whatever. So then he called it Meet the TV, and it's just another kind of side project to like put the kind of more different songs into, you know what I mean, so that it flows. Because if I put With You out as my own, it wouldn't really work with the sound we have going.
It might twist it a little bit.
And Elliot wrote that anyway, but no.
So you have already even the Beatles would be happy with that amount of singles on an album to be able to say, well, we've got an album's worth of material. I'm sure you've got lots of other material. That I don't know if the notion of the album is something that seems not redundant, but not as important today as a good single is.
Yeah, like I've been talking about, we've spoken about me doing an album actually. Every time we're on, I'm like, oh, the album's on the way. But like that is what we're kind of like working towards, I think, like doing the first album, kind of getting that out there. And then like, because now I have songs that are kind of like not in the vein of album 1. I'm like, well, that'll be album 2 and 3. That's when we kind of mature a little bit or whatever. But I do want to get that out there like as well. So we would have been working on the album in here now over the last like whatever how long COVID's been going on, but obviously you can't do that. So
you guys are, and it's a family tradition. You're you know, there's music everywhere, and people are all capable of making music. I don't know whether, like Mute to TV, there's lots of material that sort of bounces around and is sort of put on hold or put somewhere else in a different file because it's not quite part of the color scheme you're using right now. And
it happens a good bit actually. Like I've got a lot of kind of softer, like finger picking songs and stuff, which I love doing. Like that's my favorite kind of guitar playing, like picking, like, you know, like cotton picking or whatever and stuff. Right. But that hasn't really made its way into the singles so far.
But if someone like Bob Dylan can just throw out, you know, unannounced a track, he's throwing out one or two songs out there that just are not part of any great scheme, or this isn't selling an album. I mean, are you tempted at all just to be kind of, you know, doing? I suppose maybe it's early days still, but the idea that, you know, rather than this being a big, huge event, this is just something, you know, I like the idea of just sending it out there into the world and let it do its thing.
That's a good point, because like we've made it a kind of official thing, like, oh, we're doing an EP and then here's but like if you just throw one up and, you know,
just occasionally it doesn't have any expectation on it then, and it has its because our perception of music always is you know, we're supposed to like this, or this is a big deal, or the artist is important and therefore, you know, you have to go with it. But the idea that songs can just appear out of the blue and then they just hit you, hopefully fresh and without any baggage, and boom, they kind of takes off. So the year ahead, as all of us are in this limbo and not knowing, I would hope and imagine that the gigs will be back on by the summer, midsummer, late summer, whatever it might be. I mean, do you kind of feel you have to make plans, or do you just sort of think, well, it's always been, you know, we just take it each day and see what happens and how best to go forward? I mean, are you plotting master plans?
Well, like before this had happened, we kind of were like thinking about doing gigs and stuff, and we got like a band together. That's how we did the Whelans thing. So like I was thinking of booking gigs and stuff with the full band, because it had just been me and Elliot doing acoustic and stuff. So then it was like, oh, well, we've got the EP and we've got the other singles, and now we can play them like properly, bass guitar and stuff. So that was disappointing, obviously. But yeah, at the moment, just kind of taking it day by day and just like hoping that we get out of this.
We should give a shout out to the band. What was the lineup of the band again?
Yeah, Connor King on bass and Rob Kennedy on drums.
Nice.
Yeah, they were really cool.
And that Whelans gig was something spectacular. We kind of got caught in the hop with it. It happened, and we had hoped to cover it and get in there. But it seemed, and certainly from Oscar Hackett's filming of it just looked amazing. It was deadly. Whelans want to watch.
Yeah.
Were you nervous? Was it something that you felt? I don't know. You know, afterwards, I don't know if it felt, you know, like a one night stand. I don't know how you came out of it. How it worked for you.
Yeah, kind of. I actually really enjoyed it. I was a bit nervous then. When I got on, I was just like, this is it. This is my moment, because I'd never been in Whelans and stuff in any capacity, and I was like, Jesus, this is cool. And that was really cool. After then, I was like, I want to do more of this. And then, like a few weeks later, here we are. But
Now, should we get deep about the songs themselves? Like something like "When I'm Sad," naturally one has to assume something. Is
something sad happened
on your shoulders. I don't know if that was the case, or whether this was just a fictional piece of work. Or
well, that one is probably the more personal song on the EP. It is a bit deceiving because it says it's "When I'm Sad," but it's actually quite boppy.
Right.
But yeah, I was thinking about my parents' breakup and stuff, and I suffer with anxiety and stuff, so I was thinking about that. But listening to it, you probably, like, you know, someone that doesn't know me would be like, oh, it's just, you know, it's a nice song. But for me, it's like, no, I'm talking about the panic attacks I have on a daily basis and divorce. But
well, that's what the kids are all talking about today. So
true.
Especially during the lockdown, there's going to be a lot of divorce. It's very topical.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, wow, yeah.
I mean, that idea of you know, I don't know whether you feel the music that you make has to be somewhat autobiographical to be worthy, or you mean it has to come from, you know, like when you look at the Beatles especially, they were always dealing with what they were going through, especially Lennon. You know, he exercised a lot of demons about his mother and others, and I guess, you know, all great art has something of that. It doesn't have to be primal scream, but you know, you don't have to go completely nuts on it, but I think it has to come from some real feeling.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, but then I also feel like, you know, the whole silly love song thing or whatever. Like, I do love a good little like ditty that doesn't really mean anything. Like, I've never been in love, and yet I'm writing like Pretty Clothes on the EP is like real lovey-dovey song, and that's kind of fiction.
Well,
like,
as McCartney says, silly love songs. You know, what's wrong with that?
Exactly. I love that song.
Part of the mix.
Yeah.
So normally we'd finish these by saying, you know, what are your plans? But like the rest of us, it's hard to make plans. But I guess it's a case of keeping kind of fighting fit, and you know, you're blessed with the fact that you're able to make music here on your own with Elliot and create and figure things out before you take them outside and show them to the world. So I'm sure that's a big plus, because a lot of people don't have that luxury at home to perform and create. And,
we're really grateful for all the gear and just having.
So given that we're going in for another at least 2 months, you probably have a rock opera by August.
Oh yeah, that's in the works. Yeah.
A 3-hour rock opera. Yeah. Well, we have the links up for you know, people can hit it on Spotify. Obviously, it's available on Bandcamp, $3.99, or if anyone's feeling generous, $4.99, $5.99. But and then your back catalogue is, as I said, I've always been genuinely kind of stunned by what you've made. Really, really beautiful stuff. And we'll direct people to mute the TV as well. I just thought, that caught me almost like a little sort of left wing kind of.
It was kind of a surprise, yeah.
But a cracker, really, really well done.
Thank you.
So nice you've done, my son. And we should say this is Big Red Studio. Do you ever have other bands in, or?
No, back in the day now, my mom and dad used to like record bands and stuff. But it's really just recording today.
Well, it's all about, like, I was in Sun Studios. You mean not that much bigger than here. It's all about the feeling in a room, and I would imagine this room's got quite a lot of good feelings going through it most of the time. Except when you're crying, of course, about divorce and things. But other than that, it's not a good feeling.
Exactly.